everyone, got a great game for you versus Tub, and we're just going to get right into it. He's running a no flight book, I'm also running a no flight book, and there are some pretty sweet plays in this game. It's pretty back and forth, so yeah, we're going to get it started. Here I'm hoping that without glide he's unable to flash me, and he goes for this long flash and actually is able to sink me there, which is pretty ridiculous. That should be put in some like glide tutorial or flash tutorial or something. I think I have some examples in my flash tutorial about how to knock a glided player, right? And that's one prime example. That's one way you can do it. It's not very consistent, but yeah, I guess that's something you could practice, right? Get that down. And I knew I would be able to get out of that tree there, or at least I was pretty sure that I could do that. One quick note too, if I were to be knocked to the side and it didn't sink me, then I would have still just teleported back up, because you don't want to lose that much tempo and be fighting from the side on turn 1. So it's best, even if you're knocked to the side, especially with the no flight book, just to teleport back up. And that way, if you do it still early, it would be on turn 2 that I would teleport back up. Then I wouldn't lose, I wouldn't be at risk of getting trapped by a Dark Knight or something. I could still prevent that. So he goes for the mech arrow and it flies for a little bit over, I think about 5 or 6 seconds. I timed it, and at around the 6th second it'll explode. And he let it fly too long, and so I was able to keep my swarm alive. Did do some extra damage to me, but it's not too bad. Also, I'll note that he does tower on turn 2, which is not like that great, right? It's okay, but as far as something that like puts pressure on me, it's not really putting that much pressure. So he tries again for the knock, and I'm like, oh no, he almost got it. He actually is probably just 2 pixels off, or like 5-10 pixels off. If he gets it just down a slight bit, then I would start bouncing off the side and then go to the side there. At that point, teleporting back up is probably not smart, because he's at turn 4. He's only got 1 or 2 turns before Dark Knight comes, and so that wouldn't be advised here. Oh, here I'm going for the flash. I BFTP that pixel, but I did want to show you guys. I could have saved this BFTP if I flash in here, and you just go to the bottom. I'm extending, and then 1 over from the bottom. I was thinking this angle in the moment, like that he would hit the tree, that it wouldn't pop him up far enough, but actually, if I click this right here, it's pretty perfect and it launches him far. So that's one thing I could have done, save that BFTP there, because if you didn't see, there's a really small pixel. So after he flashes me, you'll see a pixel, which I'll zoom in on. So yeah, once again, you see this, and he just barely misses. Just unfortunate. So I'll zoom in here. There's a pixel somewhere. Yeah, you guys see that right there. And so that's why I wanted the blast from the past. Yeah, again, in the moment I wasn't too confident in that flash, so I decided to go on the other side. Just elevator myself up with the swarm. That's kind of a micro thing that a lot of players don't think about, especially in 60-second games or 60 Grassy. If you have a minion, it can help you with your mobility, especially if you don't have flight. That's important. And you can see I actually barely made that flash there. It just kind of skimmed over the top of the tree. But he's going to teleport in here, inside this tree where I teleported, because he saw that I did it and was like, oh, hey, this guy's smart. I'm gonna follow in his footsteps, copy his moves. So at this point I would just want to keep him trapped, keep the map control, and so I decide to tree. He actually does fit a totem there, which is not ideal. So I'm thinking that I don't really want to hit the tree and kill it for him. So maybe try to keep him trapped with like an ice shield and then summon another minion or something. Here I go with Dark Knight, because I know that he's got limited space. He Doesn't have Arcane Gate up because he just teleported. So, you know, put some pressure on him. He still has an option to like flash down if he wanted to here. But he actually goes for the bones and kills the swarm. But I don't know how that killed the swarm really, because only one bone hit it. Maybe a bone hit it on the way down and, I don't know, also hit the DK. Because like when a bone hits a minion, it's gonna stop like where that minion was hit. But I don't have good positioning here and actually allow the flash, which is unfortunate, but I have a safe teleport here. You know, why do I decide to teleport there in the aura? Well, I think it's the safest spot, and it's a little bit difficult for him to trap me. So he does bring out a swarm, which is probably an ideal move. But I also know that I have snare, and I knew this before, so I had kind of planned out, oh, if he has a swarm and he brings it out, I can just snare it, it's no big deal. And now I also have some prophylaxis, some reassurance against DK summon. If he summons it, then it can just bounce off my snare, and maybe I can escape, right? And you'll see that here, he summons the Pegasus, and boop! It ticks and moves a good amount to the left there, so I'm able to get free. I would have loved to get free here and just drop a Mega Boulder on his head, but because I'm not able to do that, I go for the next best thing probably and trap him. Subtle thing here, maybe I could have walked down and like positioned myself so that he would be trapped with the DK. That would have been nice. That would have been way nice. In hindsight, I was like, damn, that would have been a pretty good move. Because since I didn't body block, he was able to get out. But that would require me to kind of anticipate exactly where the DK would land, which would be a pretty advanced move. But it is something I thought about after the fact and was like, dang, that would have been sweet. But, you know, it is what it is. At this point, I'm worried about Mega Boulder, and I'm like, shit, I'm lost. There's no way. So, he goes for the BFDP mech arrow. And here I'm thinking, you know, I've got Mega Boulder on my mind, because I had it on my mind when he mounted on that Pegasus. So I'm hoping to maybe try to sneak one in. But we'll see what kind of angle I want to go for. And I just throw the most god tier Mega Boulder. You can see that last, that fourth bounce actually bounces in between this little spot there, which is not a lot of space because that Mega Boulder was, you know, enlarged. It's bigger now that it's on its fourth bounce, and it still follows. It basically follows him like a homing missile Mega Boulder. So, you know, I'm gonna get reported for aimbot here soon. But anyway, I go for the god tier Mega, which I say a lot on this channel, but you know, what can you do? You're just too good with the spell. Nah, I'm playing. But now I got some snares that can provide some cover, right? But at this point I also am thinking, I'm like, man, this guy has double tower. And that really sucks. Why does it suck? It sucks because, well, I have no pebbles. And that's common in high level 60 Grassy play. You think, oh, you're just going to outsmart your opinion with your opponent. Not opinion. Your opponent with the minion play, right? And towers aren't really like something that you use to, I don't know, gain any sort of advantage or whatever. If someone towers, you can just run away and summon a minion. You don't need to de-tower them. Because it's 60s, it's all about minion play. So, I get this nice triple drain off, and at this point Rek was like lost, and I was like, huh. You really think he's lost after a triple drain? I don't know. But he does have double towers, so this is going to be harder than it looks to deal with. Because I get Sanctuary down, it takes several turns because I don't have Pebble. Then he has Sanctuary back maybe in a turn or two. But he also has his Clock Tower back. Right now I'm sure he has Clock Tower, that's why he detowers. And he's going to try to either trap my minion or maybe just relocate because of the snares. He decides to trap me, which is totally fine play, right? Again, I forced him to kind of play defensive, though. He can't really be aggressive at all. Even if he tries to summon a Dark Knight, I've got the snares there. I can teleport away, I can use my Pegasus to block the Dark Knight, whatever I'd like here. So, let's see what he wants to do here. I think he has to tower, right? Because I have a couple ways to kill him. Maybe not this turn, since I'm trapped in that live tree. But once that tree dies, right, you know, I can BFTP out. I think I have one left, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm pretty sure I'm saving one. And this is why I summon the Swarm to kill the tree and get out. But we will see here. So he does summon the Dark Knight, but because he towered first, I now can get out. I'm looking pretty good here. I'm gonna put the Swarm on the DK, drop it down. Probably not even necessary, because the Pegasus is actually able to get out anyway, but maybe it was. I don't know. It looks like a little bit fancy, but the reason I did that was just because I was thinking, oh, maybe my Pegasus could get out under the Dark Knight. If I potentially just let it drop, maybe it drops onto the Pegasus and then the Pegasus gets stuck. So here he's trying to go for a, I don't know, double drain play maybe? Or maybe try to ladder. Yeah, maybe he was seeing if he could ladder the DK, but the man trap just kind of flew away once he hit the snare. So that made it a bit tricky. And I'm just going to want to keep the DK trapped. I decide to go for the mud here. Traps the DK, traps him. He doesn't have many plays, so he goes for a drain. I was thinking, you know, he could have, and in fact I'll try to show this. What he could have done is, I think you can D-tower here, which is pretty sweet. So F2, let's take control, and then, oops, I hit Q, but yeah, you just D-tower here, you go out, and he can just knock me with the flash. But then he's thinking ahead, probably, and thinking, you know, what do I do after the flash? But I'm actually pretty sure that, like, this is a misplay by me, because I mud, he D-towers, he flashes out, and he frees his Pegasus with the flash. So I was worried about that, but he didn't see it, and I was like, oof, thank God. So he flashes me off here. You know, where do I teleport? You know, what do I do? I think I have to go down here, don't I? Right? And then at that point, okay, maybe I'm safe from the Dark Knight. But now, his minion, his Pegasus is free. I guess the Dark Knight's still trapped, which is why this wouldn't be so good. But I think I would have to teleport, yeah, down on the side. I guess is if I do teleport like up top, you know, is it possible for him to maybe free the, I don't have the right book here, but maybe I can use the console. If he does have a BFTP, like maybe he could use it. And then once he does that, can he get his DK out, potentially? Yeah, he can. And then I would probably be dead here, right? Let's see. Pretty much. If not dead, I'm dead, because... So, pretty much he can get to me anywhere if he has a BFTP. Now, if he doesn't, I don't quite remember exactly at this point in the game if he did or not. But that would have been a potential play. Like I said, it goes out the window if he doesn't have a BFTP to free the DK. But, you know, then I'm dead. But, let's just go back to that point in the game. And start the start the replay again here. Okay, so we were where he traps me and then he towers. Alright, we'll just let it run from here. So I'm going to summon the Swarm right, kill the tree, and escape. And then, yeah, he goes down to Sanctuary, I believe. And that's where I was saying, oh yeah, I could Mud Ball. But then he escapes and flashes me off. That might have been a play that he could have made. I don't think he used all of his BFDPs, but it's possible that he did. So I'm going to get out here, and it's unfortunate that my spear is on like a 5-turn cooldown, right? Because I get it, you know, if it was on any quicker of a cooldown, then it would be so overpowered. But because he has 2 towers, 1 spear every 5 turns is not enough to keep up with 2 towers. Like, there's just no way. He actually does have a BFDP available that he could have used if he doesn't free that man trap. But maybe that was his last one, and if that's the case, then he can't do that little trick of jumping out of the mud and then flashing me off and then freeing the Pegasus. You know, that whole sequence of events doesn't quite work out as well if he doesn't have that blast from the past, but, you know, regardless, pretty neat idea. So he traps the minions well here. I go for this mud. I just showed you guys that whole sequence where I escape and go for the flash. He decides that's a bit too risky. Maybe he doesn't have a blast from the past. Can't guarantee that his Dark Knight will be free. So he just drains. Unfortunately though, he only gets 7 health from that drain, but he does kill my minion, which is going to be pivotal, especially if he can't escape easily. He doesn't have any more BFDP. He's got to be able to keep his options open and be able to escape. So I'm going to go down here and I think maybe Snare. I don't have Spear right because I used it 2 turns ago. I believe it was 2 turns. And yeah, I'm just going to chip away with the Snare. It does 25 damage each turn. It's not ritualed or anything, right? I don't have that type of book. Looks like I mess up the positioning a little bit on that Swarm, which is tragic. I was running out of time. And so he's able to escape. And he gets a tree out. And here, I actually have a sneaky play. I can swarm him and put the Pegasus on top and go for the Aura Stack. The Aura Stack kill. How often do you guys see that? That's just ridiculous. So anyway, I felt pretty proud of that play. And also just that Mega Boulder that was pretty epic in the middle of the game too, that brought him to like 21 health. Really putting him on the ropes. All 4 of the bounces hit him, especially that last bounce that literally followed him like a homing missile. That homing Mega Boulder. I might trademark that, you know, after hitting so many epic Mega Boulders against a wide variety of players. And so anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this match. It was a real close one, back and forth. You know, he had some awesome plays, especially that first turn flash. And then he tried it again, which didn't quite work out for him. But yeah, both of us had our chances, and ultimately I was able to come out on top with that great Mega Boulder being the spell that propelled me to my victory. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.